Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar. I'm Paulus Perkkiö from Seidat, and I'm here together with Martin. Welcome, Martin.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, I give you chance to present yourself more detailed a little bit later, but if we start from our title, from local to global, I think it's very interesting topic to discuss about, and because global market is target to our business, it's same in your business, and I believe that there are many people who are interested what kind of challenges they have been, what you have met, and how have you solved them. And before we go to agenda, I recommend all people who has joined to this webinar to follow Seidat people in social media, in LinkedIn, in Instagram especially. Also in Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, we have channels, and in those channels we are telling you what's gonna happening next. And I'm here together with Evert on our side. Evert is helping me in chat. So the chat will be open all the time. So whenever you have something to comment, you want to network with other people, you want to ask us something, please use the chat. I try to follow those discussions there and then ask questions from Martin when that kind of messages are coming. But today we will have that presentation by Martin about how to grow business from local to global. What does it mean from culture point of view, from tools which salespeople and other people are using in your company? How about sales methodology in different countries? Is there any differences? How should you localize your product or offer? And what kind of market entry aspects you need? We will record the whole meeting, whole webinar, so if there will be some technical challenges or you must go, then we will send the recording to all people who has subscribed. But now, stage is yours, Martin. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you all of you here tuning in as well into this meeting. Very briefly, my name is Martin. I'm Vice President of Sales at Younium. Short background for me. So I've been in different industries before, mostly software industries, some SaaS companies, but I've also been working with classical ERP platforms back in the days. But since I think almost 4 years ago, 4 years now, I'm at Younium. We have, I don't know, can you see now I switch? Yeah, you can see. Okay, so good. We have an agenda for today. But just, please shout out that the thinking of today is to share a little bit about our trip and what we have done so far and where we're heading. I will share some successes and also share some hard-bought experiences that were not so good. So I will share that, and I would very much like to have your input and feedback and questions on that as well. So I will start a little bit where did we start, then a little bit how we set up the company, because now looking back, it was 5 years ago I think we started the company, but now looking back at that, we can see some things turned out really good, other things turned out semi-good, you can say, right? And what we did good and bad there, and then a little bit, but how do we do nowadays when we're entering new markets is a little bit different from how I did it back in the days or 4 years ago. A short summary and of course a Q&A. It says Q&A in the end here, but I think Paolo said just chat in the chat, and then we can interrupt with the questions during the presentation as well.
Yeah, I think the more we have interaction together with our audience, the better, because it's more interesting. And whenever you have questions, please ask them.
shout out, scream, or do something. I can't see your faces now, but I suppose I will hear from you, or hope I will do. Very short. I will, a short presentation of Younium. So what do we do? What kind of company are we? Younium is a subscription management solution. Back in the days, there were not so many. Today, there are a few other solutions on the market than we are. We are specialized on what we call a little bit advanced B2B. So we don't do B2C subscription management. And we don't do, so to speak, the long tail of B2B either. We do a little bit more advanced with bigger contracts and more complex pricing models. So we are a B2B subscription management SaaS solution. We're founded 2017. We are roughly, I think we're roughly 65 colleagues, maybe up to 70 right now. And today we have offices in Stockholm, in Sweden, or Stockholm, Malmö, and then we have in Amsterdam, in Krakow, and Philadelphia. We have been growing very much. We start to see some tendencies now in the economic climate, but we have been growing. Our track record is outstanding back in this. So that's short about us. Anybody who wants to know really much more about subscription management, I can talk about that forever, but I will not now. But you can ping me or Paulus afterwards, and I can talk about subscription management another day. That's our speciality, anyway. A short disclaimer as well. So I'm really aware of that I'm taking your time right now. So I will try to share as much as possible, as to make as much value for you as possible. But a disclaimer: every offer and every product you provide is different. Some provide products to B2C, other to B2B. Some have long tail, other has very few customers, but more expensive service. Different geographies and markets, and different target industries as well. So I don't want to say that we have the answer to everything, but take what I say as an input, and you can have an input from others, and maybe, hopefully, some of the lessons we learned you can hear about here, so you don't need to do the same mistakes that we did. Just give you a perspective as well. Back in 2019, we moved to our first office in Stockholm, and the blue bag you see on the picture is the office that's everything we owned in Stockholm at that time. It was 2 computer screens. That was the full office, and you can see them there on the next picture. So it has gone kind of fast until now, but that said, things are moving fast sometimes, and sometimes it slows down a little bit, and yeah. So I will start with a part called, sorry for switching screens here, called setting up the company. I will share a few early choices we made in Younium, and some of those were good, some of those were semi-good, I would say, and I will show, and this is, I think, why I think this is important, or what did we do wrong. So I will start here with the first one. If we talk about setting up the company, and the direction we chose kind of early was to set a 3-year plan. This is a little bit outdated now, but this is the 3-year plan we set from the beginning. And the reason why we set a 3-year plan was for everybody in the company to have a North Star, a goal. Okay, where are we going to be within 3 years, right? So we're going to be over here. And we had some of the yellow ones, the goals. The yellow ones was more like financial goals and growth goals. You have the blue ones, the light blue ones, they were product goals, you can say. And you have the dark blue ones, they were market-wise, and then you have the, I don't know, the color magenta maybe, were more like employee branding wise. So we set this kind of early because then we could, the full company from product development, sales, and marketing could have the same picture. Where are we heading? Also important kind of early days for us was to say, do you want to be on a growth company? Things might not be fixed, everything, there will be a lot of uncertainties in a growth company. Are you on that trip, right? Because that's the trip we are heading on. If you're not like that trip, you shouldn't be here. So be kind of clear with that. This was one of the most important enablers and it served as the North Star for us. So this was a good choice. That served us well. So then we said, okay, which industries are we going to go for, right? What are we going to go for? So we are going to go for telecom. It's in the middle. We are going to go for the manufacturing industry on the right-hand side. And then we're going to go for the SaaS and software industry on the left-hand side. That was our goal and when the company started. And that seemed like a great plan because you have SaaS and software, they have subscriptions, you know that. Then you have telecom, they also have some sort of subscriptions, usually, right, that comes around. And then you have the industry, and that's a mega trend that's been ongoing for a few years called servitization, or where they take some hardware and try to move that to hardware as a service. And that has happened in some markets and some parts where you no longer buy hardware, but you rent it or fly by hours. And there are many examples in the industry, but still it haven't boomed. So this was our goal. This was our goal like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Now in retrospect, we could draw to the conclusion this was wrong, right? We didn't succeed neither in the telecom industry nor in the manufacturing industry. However, we focused very much on SaaS and software, and that's where we found where we found gold, so to speak. So apologize for the busy. Yes.
If you go shortly back to that time when you make the decision to concentrate to those 3 industries, did you make any kind of research, or was it based on your former experience, or why did you make this decision?
That's a very good question. I would say you can always try to polish up the truth in retrospect and say we did kind of scientific research here. I'm not sure we did that, but I can speak for myself. I have a background partly from the manufacturing industry. So the mega trend with servitization, I've been looking into that both from a software perspective, but also from other perspectives. So I know a little bit about that. I knew a little bit about SaaS. Telecom, I had no clue. I will say that we did some research, but I'm guessing we would pretty much be embarrassed and say denied this was not us, because I don't think we put so much work in researching these industries. That's my guessing, if I remember correct. We should have done more, but on the other hand, it's also important to get fast to the market and start trying things so you don't get stuck in research mode too. So I would say what we did good here was, well, maybe it was 1 or 1.5 year failing in some markets, right? But that said, then when we failed, we made a decision, leave manufacturing and leave telecom, at least for now. So we don't do it today, at least for now. Okay, sorry for the busy picture, but connecting back to the target industry. So what we did good then, we decided let's define an ICP. So I shared the ICP with you. Here is our ICP. ICP is one of the, I think it's one, ideal customer profile is one of the most important things that we define. It hasn't been looking like this. I don't know if this is the latest version, but roughly this, that we define that this is the kind of customers we should aim for sure. And then you have the second, the number 2 here, SaaS industry, software industry. We don't do so much something else, and we don't do so much manufacturing. That is, we strike that one. And then we segmented the target companies or the prospects we're working with in different sizes. And we have different strategies for different sizes of companies. I get the summary here, but I hope I'm still at the meeting. So good thing that we did then was we did a good ICP definition and said, what will we build our solution for? We will build this for this kind of customers. That we did good. Industry and segment has changed. We did something that today is not the same. So we have iterated that a few times. And that was good as well to iterate it. The ICP is more or less the same. And then we betted on specialization. Let's go narrow, let's not go broad. And that worked out fine so far. But I would say ICP, try to define this as early as possible. And if the target industry is not right, don't be afraid of changing direction a little bit.
I must say, from my point of view, that it's so tricky sometimes to understand, are you directing to wrong segment, or is your product, should you change it a little bit and then you have
that's super tricky, I would say. I agree with that, and I don't know, I don't have a solution for that, because we've been there. We thought about it. Should we fix some things in our solution to better suit the manufacturing industry, for instance? And I don't have any good good solution, that surround yourself with good colleagues that are you trust, and really spend some time discussing scenarios back and forth. And then one more thing, time will tell. Don't let it go too much time, but time will tell. After a certain point, you come to a certain point. For me, I remember it very well. I went to our board and I said, I don't want to work in the manufacturing industry anymore, period. So, and I remember that very clear. It was not a long discussion, but it took some time before I came to that conclusion, or we did. But when we did that, then it was clear for everybody. Maybe we start working in manufacturing industry later on, but not right now. Geographies then. I hope I'm going in the right pace for you guys. Let's shout out if I'm going too fast or so. So how are we going to take? So from day one, we decided kind of what kind of solution do we want to be at Younium. We want to provide a solution for Europe and the American market, Europe and US. That is our target. Why? Yeah, because we know Sweden is too small. We started in Sweden. Okay, what about Sweden, Norway? A little bit too small as well if we have crazy ideas, which we had. But also that the World Cup or whatever we call it is not run in Sweden. It's the World Cup is running in Europe and in US, right? So we need to be out on those markets to have the toughest competition and have the possibility to play in the World Cup, so to speak. So we said let's focus on try to build a European and American solution in that sense. But we were small, we were a startup. We can't just go to US or go down in Europe. So we start out from Sweden, and we choose from Sweden to sell firstly in Sweden. Then we choose Sweden and Norway and Denmark. I think Finland as well. But we trying out. And without doing any special localization, but saying that we are close to each other. And then by some happenings, we said, okay, let's open our second office because we will not sell from Stockholm. And that was in Amsterdam. We opened that office. That might be 3 years ago or something. And the strategy we had then is, let's not open offices in all the countries in the world. It will be expensive. Let's open a few hubs. We call them hubs. And from those hubs, we are going to sell to different markets. And the hubs could be specialized in different markets. So therefore, Stockholm is one hub. Amsterdam is another hub. And then now we open up, only newly we open up in US as well, a hub. And those hubs are dedicated to serve a few markets and focus on those, because then we could be a little bit more specialized on those markets, but still we don't need to have an office in Germany, France, or Spain, but we have people. So today we have people in Stockholm that have linguistic skills, and of course English. Everybody needs English in a company, but also one person in German. And a few others in Dutch. In Amsterdam, we have people speaking Dutch, but also German and, let's see here, Spanish, Italian, French, Turkish, I think. So we have people on these hubs that could serve more markets than just the country that they are situated in. And this was kind of an idea we had early on. It was not we who invented the hubs, but that was let's run this way. And that had worked out fine for us. It has been very cost effective. Of course, we need a company in Amsterdam and now one in US, but still we don't need to have offices in so many countries. And it brought
how is it
yes.
how is it in your case that is Stockholm clear headquarter and then the others, or are they on same level, and what kind of business functions you have in those hubs?
Yeah, Stockholm is headquarter, and that's by heritage, or we started in Sweden. The company started in Sweden, and therefore it started there. So Stockholm, the G&A is in Sweden. The product and development parts has been in Sweden. Now they are in Sweden and Poland. Customer success was mostly in Sweden. So what early days moved out of Sweden was sales and marketing, you can say. Yeah. But if we didn't start as a Swedish company, we would probably not put it in Stockholm. So, but now we are from Stockholm.
Yeah.
Then headquarters ended up here. So no more special than that. So, but it served us well. We have challenges keeping the process aligned with these hubs, but we were also aware that will be the challenge. So I would say when Amsterdam office opened, and my dear colleagues there, I hope they agree, we were aware there will be challenges in keeping the process aligned. But it's better to take that challenge right away, because then we have English as a first language. I come to that in a slide, but we also, start off by understanding we don't have we are not at the same office. We need to be, have the digital meeting, try to align process of different time zones and different cultures. And that was kind of a early lesson, but also it's easier than when we continue to grow, because we knew how to set it up in different cultures. But these are the countries we are active in now. We have customers in a few more countries, but these are the countries, and the colored countries, that we are both working with sales, but also marketing and product and development are working with, trying to support. So we're localized in these countries. Tools and tech stack. Oh, time is flying. Sorry. Tools and tech stacks. I know this is also a very busy picture. I tried to put in the tools that we are using in sales. And marketing, of course, but marketing by them have also another tool set that we don't use in sales. So these are the tools we mostly use in sales. And why do I mention this? Yeah, because I remember I was the friends and family when this company was started. So I started when this company was 1 year old, and I remember speaking to the CEO of this company early days, and said, and he told me one thing that I really think is good, and we lived on since that, and that is, let's have a best of breed approach, but we should walk the walk as well, right? If we are trying to sell, if we're trying to be modern, trying to be a SaaS company, trying to sell to other SaaS companies, for instance, and they are very modern, we need to use the absolutely latest of the tools and the most innovative tool we could find. So, like, walk the walk. If we talk the talk, we need to walk the walk as well. So we really tried to find tools that were really modern, that we thought were really good, and we're trying to inspire and innovate. So for instance, Seidat, we were early customers in Seidat, but also now we're using Vidyard and trying to use other tools to be considered as a very modern company. That's challenging, but I also think that keeps us modern as a company. So today we test a few tools every year, and then we might sign up for them, or we might cancel them. We mix that up also with paid tools with free tools like Finder, Prof, Alabola, Google, of course, that is free. So we don't pay so much for all these tools, but some of the tools are really expensive, as you can guess. So what we learned: try fast and fail fast. That's really good. We zoomed in on the core process that's important for us in sales, and then we cut loose so a few platforms and try others. But it has served us well to try to be modern, so to speak. That has proven to be a good strategy so far. A little bit expensive from time to time, though, however, but we're trying to fix that as well.
Yeah, it's I feel it that way, that when you have selected the base of your ecosystem, say in your sales deck, then it's easier to find next ones, because you have made one selection and then you try to integrate them. The first steps are the hardest ones, because then you have too much opportunities from where you can select.
Yes, I agree. For us, I could say HubSpot CRM was one of the first pieces of the puzzles together, actually, with Seidat. So I think those two of the most earliest pieces that we put in our tech stack.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So regarding culture and communication, I will share how we did it. And I see it lost some text here. We can send the updated one afterwards. But this is a little bit important. That this is one thing I think we did very good, right? We decided kind of early on the markets that we should provide a service for Europe or Western Europe and US. Therefore, we were Swedish, but we shouldn't do any Swedish presentations. We shouldn't speak so much Swedish on the office. We spoke very much Swedish on the office every day. But we didn't actually do any Swedish presentations. We did only did English presentations. And then you could say, but what about the Swedish market then? Didn't you get, you had a possibility to? Yeah, but we spoke Swedish on the Swedish market, and we speak Nordic in the Nordic countries where it works, right? But this was very, very important. All external and internal presentation was in English from day one, almost. We also, culture-wise, if we talk about that, we before COVID, we say freedom and responsibility. People can work from home. We don't. Of course, we're a very modern company there as well, as most SaaS and software companies are, and fully flexible remote from start. A reflection there: the management team was until 2 months ago 100% Swedish. That we should have changed earlier, and the reason is, I think everybody look in the management team. At least when we grow, right? About the gender part, is it only guys or girls, and also a little bit about the language part, and that's a challenge. It is still a challenge for us, because part of this company is founded on old, I don't want to say that well, but study buddies or old people have been working together before, and that is kind of hard to break later. So you need to be very aware of who you recruit and the mix of that. But really try to set English as a first language, not Swedish. And part of it we succeeded, and parts not. Jumping to next slide as well. Apologize. So after a while, we realized we were 12 people, and almost everyone was Swedish. So we need to, and Sweden is not our target market. So really try to see how could we source from, maybe not from other countries, because there are people from other countries living all around the world. So in Amsterdam, you can find people of all kinds of nationalities. Same goes for Stockholm and of course US. So more trying to look for diversity. Could we find any Germans in Sweden? Could we find any Italian people in Netherlands, etc., or vice versa? So we staffed in many different nationalities. Of course, everybody should speak English. So we encouraged and looked for applicants from other parts of Europe as well. And today we have many nationalities. That has been a super strength for us in so many cases, but also just be aware that there with that come culture as well, and that could be a challenge in some points. But I think the challenges is the benefits far succeeds the challenges with it. But it was an early statement for us as well. Don't become a Swedish company in that sense. Okay, let's go on. Time flying. So what about the product then? Yeah, so one thing that we did that I think served us well so far, but this is very easy for us because we built the ICP very clear early, and then we didn't stray too far from it. Our product, VP of product, has been kind of setting the bar here very much, and we in sales and marketing have supported that as well. So we didn't challenge the product roadmap so much, at least. This has served us really well. But on the flip side, we were a little bit lucky in the beginning, right? We had a kind of a very good product market fit from the first iteration. I really think, what should we have done if we had a bad product market fit in the first iteration? Then we might have had a big challenge. But for us, we set an ICP, this is the ICP, and we set a roadmap, and we kind of kept it on the high level at least. Something, of course, we didn't go into telecom, strike that. We didn't go neither into the manufacturing industry, strike that. So that was a early change. And maybe we did one or more early changes. But other than that, the product roadmap is really connected to the ICP. And the VP product is, of course, a nice guy, but also a strict guy, as you can see here. Cool. Sorry, this is an ugly picture. I will not go into it. So I'm vice president of sales. I have a colleague, Emily Linheden. She's vice president of marketing. She's not here now. This is not her. The ugly part of this picture is me. The nice parts of everything is her. Just want to show you in a picture, we are working very tight collaboration. Of course, marketing is working in a bigger picture, in a broader scope than sales. At Younium, where we work, sales only manage new customer acquisition. And then someone might ask, what about upsell and retention and keeping customers? Yeah, that's customer success here. So sales that I work with is only new customer acquisition, only. And in that, we work very tight with marketing. I would guess that Emily might speak for herself, but I would guess that marketing puts most of the effort in new customer acquisition as well, but to do a little bit of other activities as well. It's crucial for us to work closely with marketing. So marketing and sales in close collaboration is not a choice. It's more like we must, otherwise we can't succeed in other markets. So that was a little bit how we set up the company, and some parts worked out fine, others didn't work out so fine, and I will share here very short about UK as well. So early days when we entered new markets, we had no strategy at all. We just went out there, tried to take a call, send a mail or something. It worked out fine. Us coming from Sweden, it worked out fine, maybe in Norway, partly in Denmark, but not so much more than that, right? Because after that, it was very hard. So we were lucky on maybe Norway then. But when we go a little bit farther outside from our home market, we need to have more strategy, and that we have today. But early days, we didn't have that. So far, UK has been the toughest market for us. We have better success in US and in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France, etc., etc. But yeah, early days, no strategy. Today we have a system set up how we do new market entry check. We are much better today, much better. But still, and you can ask Emily, she's not here, and you can ask me, are we satisfied? Yeah. We are not satisfied how we enter new markets because we don't think we killed it in one or two markets, but we didn't kill it in all markets. So we could be even better. But this is only a part of what we do today. We have checklists and evaluations we do before we enter new market. And right now, actually this year, we said we shouldn't enter too many new markets. We should stick to the markets we are on because it takes extreme amount of time and risk. But sales and marketing leads a new market entry, and we bring on product and development and customer success for those markets because we need localization. And then we have go and no-go decisions, and we have different activity plan. And this is just a few parts of our entry checklist, and it's not a checklist; it's a full deck with lots of slides that we go through. But we measure the volume, the value, digital maturity, target market, system landscape, competitor localization, etc., obstacles and legislation, etc., on if we should enter new market. So advice if you're going into new markets for me is to try to see first off a close market that is similar to your own. In Nordics is kind of easy because then you can choose another market in Nordics. But when you go into another part of the market, then you need to have some sort of checklist and some sort of what are you trying to achieve and when should that be achieved with a time plan.
But how do you evaluate what is new market actually? Is it geographically one country?
Yeah, for us it's only geography. Yeah, because we didn't change the industry. We're going for the same industries in different countries. Mostly SaaS and software. We have a little that's a little bit simplified, but mostly SaaS and software. So if we're going into a new country, that's a new market. But the new market could of course be that you go to another industry as well, but we haven't done that.
But in your case, the new country is also it can be a big step because there is maybe new laws and
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. In finance parts, we have some parts in our solution that's finance. We have localization. We can have obstacles and legislations that there could be things that we need to support in different markets that we don't do natively. So it could be easy. It could be challenging.
Yeah.
I have 2 more slides, I think. So bear with me, and then we're done, I hope. So activities on new markets, this is just this is just a part of all the things we do. There are so many things, but just give you today, okay, we make evaluation. Should we go in there? Then we say, okay, we should go there. We do a time plan, when to start different activities. So we have BDRs and sales doing their work with prospecting and creating big lists of companies within this market. We do cold calling, of course, classical sales, cold calling sequence, LinkedIn reach outs, etc., etc. We are doing, since marketing is very innovative in this, and they're also helping everybody in sales out. But we're trying really hard to engage in SaaS networks. We are doing that good I know Amsterdam's office is really good, or Stockholm as well. But we're trying to engage in SaaS networks, communities, events, trying to tend to network. We are trying to, I'm here as well. That's also a part. We're trying to be active on the market. We are testing digital in small scale on new market, trying to spend small scale money, see where it grabs. We have tried it as well, but we will not do it anymore, go in with big money from beginning. But that's marketing spend on that. And we're trying also to get referrals on the new market, right? And we do evaluation. Yes.
In sales, for example, do you have big differences when you enter new market? Or are you typically following exactly same kind of process and methodology?
It's a good question. So I would say that we tried to be stupid here and try to do the same in many countries, but it hasn't worked out so good in all markets. But there are parts of the sales craft, so to speak, that is generic, like prospecting, finding companies, creating lists, for us, finding the right companies, doing messaging, right, that resonates with the country, but also with, for now we have the economic decline. We should have messaging that resonates with that. We are selling to finance departments. They have their year procedures, year-end procedure now. They are closing the last year now, so they are busy right now. So we are. And doing those kind of messages is roughly the same on different markets. And they have the same economic decline in Germany as in Finland, as in Sweden, right? So everybody feel the economy right now. But so those kind of works is the same. But then when it comes to, should you call a prospect, or should you mail them, or should you use LinkedIn, or is it impossible to reach them that way? Should you instead work more with networks? That's a little bit different for different countries, we think, but we're not sure yet. We only can see where we failed and where we succeeded. So to speak.
Yeah, and it's maybe one reason why it's a little bit hard to evaluate also is that maybe there are typically new people who are doing this work. It's not typical that it's same people who has done the work in Stockholm to Sweden, and then you go to German and you need to have other language skills and so on.
Yeah, that could be absolutely. That is one thing that we also learned. The experience is valuable. One thing also about the localization, how much do we do in the different markets? So for instance, we don't do any marketing or specific sales in, let's say, Norway or Denmark in Norwegian or Danish. I don't think we do any special in Belgium. In Germany, we've done a few things in German, but very little. We did a little bit more in Dutch in Holland. In France, I know we sent out a few mails in French, but we don't have marketing material in French in that sense. And for some markets, this is more sensitive. I would just guess here that in Netherlands, you're kind of fine and it works with English. While in France, at least part of France, it's harder to go with a 100% English strategy. But we haven't made a decision we have made a decision to not translate everything. So we don't have a homepage in all kind. We have landing pages. This is marketing that should answer this, but I think we have landing pages for webinars that we can localize from time to time, but we don't localize the homepage and the marketing material in general.
I'm interested about the X there. Minimum of X number of meetings with IC.
Yeah.
On what level you think it is? Is it 50, 100, 30, 20?
No, yeah, that I would say that's very different from the size of what kind of target market you have and you sell to or others sell to. For us, we sell kind of fewer new customers, but higher ARPA, higher value of each contract, if I may say so. Meaning that if we, I think we have around 150 customers right now, but they are kind of big, and we get big contracts on those as well, and therefore I would say in our part, I would guess that it's between 20 and 40 meetings, depending on the market size, maybe up to 50. But if we were selling another product where we were kind of a little bit lower ARPA but much longer tail, so to speak, then I would say that at least 100 customers, at least 100 meetings.
Tina asked a very good question. How do you ensure your hubs are sharing best practices, marketing, messaging, sales process, which is better?
Super good question. Yeah, no, I can't be sure. That is the answer. I can't. So we tried. So I have a colleague I have many colleagues, but we have a colleague in Amsterdam whose name is Walter. He's leading the Amsterdam hub. We have a colleague in Stockholm here, Sam, who's leading the Stockholm hub, and then we have Jeremy in US, right? So we have three, and those are the one who's leading the hubs. Then they have many good and skilled professionals on each working on each hub. We try to build a culture where we share good things, right, within the hub, but also between the hubs. A little bit bragging, but not braggy. I don't know if you can say braggy, but trying to say, okay, I tried this sequence or this messaging. I had a really good hit with that, but also I think from time to time, we're also trying to share mistakes and make a little bit laugh about that if we can. But I can't assure that we're working the same way. We have a few baselines. We work in the same CRM. In the CRM, we should do exactly this. That's not a choice. You can't choose how you document in the CRM. That's very strict how we do it. How we manage the pipes is also kind of strict. When a deal becomes a deal and you need to kill a deal or win or lose a deal. But regarding so many things, you can't control that, I would say. You need to build a culture where things are shared by nature. That's at least, I think so. I think so. Good. One more thing that we tried last year and that we'll definitely continue with is what we, I think it's Emily or Nicholas or someone who mentioned, call it guerrilla marketing. I don't know if that's a term or if it's just invented by our marketing department together with our CEO. But what we really, we tried 2 years ago as well, but we will really accelerate on this, is being up on different local events, country events, meetups, etc., and try to utilize those, not for being bad sales pushy, but use them for us to meet a network audience. And in the long run, we are not selling by being pushy. We are selling by being trusted advisors in that sense. So try to go, for instance, we went to SaaStr. We were not sponsor of SaaStr, but went to SaaStr. Try to use that time to network, meet people. I also set some goals before going that okay, when we're there, we should meet at least 3 new prospect companies and have 3 meetings when we go home. Also, be brave, be social. It's work for us, for me, and for many of my colleagues. It's very clear. You don't go there to drink drinks. Yeah, you can do that as well, but it's a work, and you should be very tired at 9 o'clock in the evening. And that with that, SaaStr is a big event, but we went to many other events in Europe and some in US as well. And this has been very beneficial for us, networking, meeting people.
So in your opinion, the biggest ones are not maybe the best ones in many cases. So identifying local events which are maybe smaller than
absolutely.
It's global.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, so you have the biggest event. SaaStr is one big event. There are others big events in Nordics. You have I suppose Slush in Finland. You have SaaSest in Sweden, and you have called Tech Barbecue in Denmark, and a few others, right? Those are the more local events that are and you have some in the Netherlands, Softpass, and a few others, right? And the artist in Germany. Those are more local events, but still they are events. Then you have meetups. I don't know for each country now, but I know there are meetups in some of the Nordic countries where you have like, come here, meet, and we just mingle to each other. You know, so we have a barbecue, do something. There are very low thresholds. You are welcome if you don't misbehave, and those are extremely valuable for us, both for us to get inspired and meet peers in sales and marketing and product, you know, learning from others. I'm so glad to be working in the SaaS community because people share so much. So you don't need to buy consultants for that, you know, you share that. But also for us then, because our target market is pretty much SaaS companies, we can also use that for partly sales or networking. But so no, we will not go to SaaSter only, and probably not so much. We will spend more time in the local events, Nordic events, Central Europe or Dutch events, German events, and network. That's probably most valuable for us. All right, that was the last slide. I promised you a summary, but it's not here. I can see it's not here. So I just want to summarize it and say, you know, it always sounds like, you know, when I summarize it, oh, this was a good choice, this was a bad choice. But I would say pretty much we made maybe not a 50-50 bad and good choices, but what defined us is that what we did good was when we did bad choices, we kind of cut loose on those kind of early and said, okay, this is not working. Let's change direction. Let's try this instead. And then we had some luck as well because the product market fit was good from beginning, and that's kind of very important, I would say. That might be the summary. Are you still there? I can't see your faces, but maybe you can.
I'm still here. And I'm trying to ask people in chat if they have any other questions. But also, if we have summary this way, so that as we discussed before the webinar, the global market is like a World Cup. It's harder and there is much more fun. So, but there are many big opportunities in recruiting, not only to hire new customer acquisitions, but also hiring processes and so on. And it's very important you find the right markets. You can't select whatever, because there are bigger and smaller opportunities and bigger and smaller investments, and you must try to fit them. Nobody needs to speak Finnish in Finland, Swedish in Sweden, and other languages in other cultures, but it's also important that we will remember our own home markets. For example, to us, it has been really important to succeed in Finland. And we don't have big problem to localize our product. It's only some kind of UI changes. There is no different kind of legislation in big parts. Of course, in some security things, maybe like GDPR, and in USA it's something other, but this kind of things. But it has been really interesting to discuss with you, and it has been very valuable that you shared your ideas. You have been using Seidat quite a long time, and in the end of this session, I really hope that I can shortly present one of the tools which has been your first choices when you started. You have been maybe one of our first international customers too, I must say. I can't remember that exactly, but one of the first ones. So why Seidat is enabling winning sales flows, and why we have this kind of sessions together with Martin is that we want to give more ideas for salespeople, how to reach the global market, how to find new customers, how to build the process, is there any differences in different countries, and so on. But if you think about what is Seidat all about, it's sales platform where you can create your sales materials, you can present them using this tool, you can share, analyze, and use also e-signatures to sign the contracts. And this is really well used tool in online meetings, but of course, when we started to develop our tool several years ago, it was face-to-face meetings where we what was our goal. And it's amazing to hear once again when people are going more to face-to-face meetings, how big challenges they have in those sessions. And just a day ago, we got quite a big messages from medical company that their sales is really interested about our tool because of those big challenges in face-to-face meetings. If you don't have this kind of cloud-based platform where you can share the presentation from one laptop to other, or from laptop to mobile device, or from mobile device to laptop, and so on. So it's interesting. And of course, this opportunity to integrate this platform to those other technologies which you may use, like HubSpot and other CRM tools, in how to integrate it with your social media channels, with remarketing opportunities, and with your analytics tools. Those integrations between your ecosystem, other tools, they are really important to automate processes and take this manual work away. We will have more webinars coming all the time, and next English webinar will be about customer acquisition together with Stina Dancy. She has said sometimes that she's cold calling queen, but with Stina we will have a webinar about this acquisition part. And Martin, I want to ask once again from you, if you would make your journey from local Stockholm-based company to global SaaS business where you have offices and customers around the world, what would you change from that trip? What has been a challenge, maybe?
Yeah, so to be very clear, I think this only started, right? So I think there will be, what do you say, 12 sorrows and 12 successes ahead of us as well. But one learning, we thought that going to US then UK was a good middle step, to step on UK before you go to US.
Yeah,
that was wrong. So if anybody of you thinking that way, I would say don't go to UK as a step for going to US. Jump directly to US. that is my suggestion. Focus on the other markets as well in Europe if you think you can sell to Benelux, Germany, France. I would say spend more time before entering a new market. A little bit more time. Yeah, so make a more conscious decision than we do it today. But I'm a little bit, what we did 4 years ago was not so conscious. We could spend more time there before we did it.
Yeah, this is interesting. Interesting question also. This, from Finland, it's easy to think that, okay, you go to UK, it's also English speaking like USA, and it would be easy to go there and then jump to other place. to a little bit bigger market, but it's easy to understand what you say. The culture is totally different in UK.
Yeah, totally different.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, when we have done it, we heard from other sources that no, you shouldn't do that. You should jump UK and go directly to US and then go back to UK. And that advice I would very much like to get hold of before we did it. That someone told me. So I tell you now, so you don't need to hear it in retrospect. That's my advice. You don't need to follow it, but it's my advice.
But why you think that way? Is it the cultural difference, or what is the biggest?
Yeah, I don't want to offend any British people here, but I would say it's very. I think the British SaaS and software culture, at least what we could see, is in US. Your companies are very open to try new things, try vendors from other countries in that sense. Usually, and I would say that in UK, at least as a Swedish or Central European brand, they're not equally open to try you. But I can put more color in that picture, but preferably not when it's on recording.
Yeah, but it's also a question how you have felt it and how it has been when.
So we haven't failed. We haven't failed fully.
No.
We haven't failed. We spent too much time. That was. Yeah. But we had customers in UK.
But as you said, it's not. It can be a good market, but it's not step from other European countries to USA.
No.
Yeah. That was interesting. I will ask last time to someone, if you want, please ask questions now. Now is the last time for that. Otherwise, I will say that have a nice winter time. We hope that it will be colder once again and more snow and skiing and having all kind of winter funs. How is it in Stockholm? Is it same waitings?
We hope to get some winter and some so you can ski and skate a little bit more before the fall comes here. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Summer will come.
Yep.
But later. Hope so. Later. Oh, thank you everyone, and thank you, Martin. It has been really nice discussion, and I hope everyone very good luck in your businesses, and I hope that this year will be something where we change our direction so that everyone will reach or go over their goals. Thank you.
Thank you.